Hey, welcome back to Ping Pong Flicks. My name is Chris Wong. I debated about whether to do this video or not, but I kept thinking about it and it really upsets me. So I have to talk about it. I just have to talk about it. It really upsets me. For most of you who don't know, there was a video that came out yesterday, I think, and there's a lot of articles, a lot of people are talking about it, are the deleted scenes that Kevin Smith had read off in his Fat Man show. And a lady in the audience also confirmed a lot of these scenes, maybe not the last part, but confirmed a lot of these scenes, and she was signed under NDA not to say anything. So there was a screen, there was a test, there was a test screen, a darker version, but I would like to say a more connected version to the Man of Steel, a more connected version to the Batman v Superman. And that's the upsetting part, because these scenes, okay, these are the connective tissues that they hired Joss Whedon to do. They said they hired Joss Whedon to come in to do these connective tissues, but these connective tissues that Snyder made, they cut out. I can't believe they cut out. They cut out connective tissues to Man of Steel, to Batman v Superman. And that's what the Justice League movie we got was loosely connected to those two versions. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the ending of a trilogy. Now, a lot of people, including myself, enjoy the current iteration. Don't get me wrong, but it did not finish it. It did not connect to Man of Steel. It did not connect to Batman v Superman in a it was loosely connected, but it's not an actual sequel. So let me just read off some here. Okay, so I'm not gonna go through everything. You can go ahead, watch that video. You can find this list online. I think I even retweeted it. Lots of stuff in here, but one of the things I want to do is get most of it is some of the stuff that I wish they had in. I know the Bruce and Aquaman recurring boost. I had a feeling that should have been the beginning of the film, maybe after the history lesson or something, because he has a beard and mustache. And I know after the Batman scene, he could have took that long to find Aquaman, but it just didn't seem that great. I wanted the Barry Allen saving Iris West by breaking glass. So who wouldn't? And also Cyborg's previous life. Like, I wish there was more of that. I wanted to see that football match. I wanted to see his mother. I wanted to see how he died, what he blames. I wanted to see that human part of him. And it really ticks me off that we don't get to see any of that. We didn't get to see any of that. It just jumps right in. It's like a whole quarter of a movie that was thrown out. I like how they talk about more Steppenwolf, more Darkseid. We'll get to that point. The Gordon scene. Let's see. The Gordon scene had a little setup that I didn't see in theatrical. Dismisses and Get a Better Life. Okay, so that's a little bit more of Gordon. Aquaman, more backstory, more about Mara Volko. She even says things about Orm, really sets up Aquaman a lot more. And maybe they're going to save that for Aquaman, but so that's not really my key things that I really missed from this, but I truly wish to have seen that. I like how when the League visited the Batcave, I remember there was almost zero Alfred and League interaction. He only interacted with Bruce, so that I thought that was kind of weird. So it does see it right here, and they also plugged in Steppenwolf will try and resurrect the power of Superman. That they must do it first before an evil Kryptonian. Before they turn him into an evil Kryptonian. And they actually have the codex in this. The genetic material, a foreign genetic material was detected in Superman, and that is the codex. The codex connects to Man of Steel that they don't even mention. I can't believe this. Deathstroke breaks Lex out of prison. Now, I gotta say, that actually should have been a post-credit scene too, because it just seems out of place within the entire film. So I understand that actually works as a post-credred scene. What is it? So I like about the whole thing about Superman, right? How Bruce had a dream. Bruce had a nightmare. He actually says that in the trailer. He actually says, I had a nightmare or a dream or something about an attack and stuff like that. And he doesn't say that at all in the movie. He does not even mention the nightmare scene. But in this one, he mentions the nightmare scene. And Superman actually gets into that little bit of the nightmare scene when Steppenwolf tries to convert him. So there is part of that nightmare scene in there. And it makes it much more sense, much more connected to Batman v Superman. It like a true sequel. That just really irks me. Oh man. And Kent Farm. Okay, Kent Farm, I really thought that was kind of weird too when Superman brings Lois. We're not gonna have that smell. Not the smell, weird smell dialogue. Come on, this is better. This is way better. He's still confused, not knowing it brings you back to the part where he's hearing things and he can't hone in his senses, and Martha gives the picture, the world is an island thing. It just takes you back. It's a lot more emotional depth to it than what they had in the movie. Like, you smell good. It's like, I can't believe it. But this is way better. This is way better, if this is true. Also, we also see the part where Clark goes to meet Alfred, and Alfred says, you're our only hope. I hope you're not too late. And he gets his suit. That's where he gets his suit from. That's, it makes sense that Bruce had the suit, maybe somehow stitched it up or whatever. Steppenwolf's second conversation with Hegra, now that he has all three mother boxes, her return to this world can begin. So it's a little bit more about Apocalypse, and it shows that there's an overarching villain. He's like a lackey, and that's why he's not as powerful when Superman just beats him to death. And Bruce's conversation, we kind of got that whole suicidal Bruce, but I think it's way more better here. He's way more guilty in this one. You can kind of see that in the current iteration, but I think that would have been a lot more impactful when we see those conversations where he deserves to die because of what he did to people and his hate for Superman. I like that. It really ties it in with Batman v Superman, shows that arc. We don't really have to delve deep into it. He actually mentions it in here. And also, it seems to be a lot more intense final battle because Batman, it looks like he's in certain death. And the other one, he kind of looked like he was going to die, but we all know it didn't feel like he was in any danger because of this. So this one, it seems like it would have been more. Cyborg dies. Well, not sure about that because that lady said that wasn't in the film, so that actually might have been different. But when Superman joins the fight and teams up with the League to defeat Steppenwolf. However, at one point Steppy tries to tempt Superman into joining his army. We see Darkseid for the first time in Superman's vision, and we see flashes of the nightmare footage. See, that is just like how everything we have got. Okay, so Man of Steel, we get Zod and Superman, and with the skulls all over. That's the nightmare sequence, the dream state for that movie. Batman v Superman, we get the nightmare scene from Batman's vision. Wonder Woman, we get the Ares and Wonder Woman tempting each other, and we have that little dreamlike state. That makes sense to have this movie have that dreamlike state once again, and it is to tie into the nightmare scene. Oh my God, that is so lame that they took that out. Superman snaps back from it and delivers the final blow to Steppy. I love that. That's what it was missing. I didn't want Steppenwolf to be taken away by parademons. It seems so lackluster. I always thought that Superman would come in there, boom, and just hits him right back into the boom tube or something. I tweeted out that he should have said, "This is my world and you don't belong here," or something. Bam, that would have been so much more impactful, so much more awesome than what we got. And you can tell because he was like completely CG'd into that scene, like it didn't belong in there. The whole frost breath and stuff, maybe the frost breath might have been there, but I just feel like he should have been the final hit, the final move. Steppenwolf is killed by Darkseid. Why did you take out Darkseid? I know you may be saving Darkseid for later on, but this is the time to bring him in as a teaser. Look what they did with Thanos. All he did was turn around and everybody's talking about, who the heck was that guy? We needed that. We needed Darkseid intends to come to Earth to meet the Kryptonian. This is just so messed up. And then there's all these others ending scenes. This makes sense. Lois introduces Perry White, Clark Kent, aka Superman. It makes sense. I mean, how does he come back? You know, it makes sense that Perry White would know already. I kind of felt he knew, but that Superman's Clark Kent, and that way he could you know, kind of change the media in a way to say, oh, Clark Kent was found alive and something like that, just so that it makes much more sense for that to happen. But man, these are some awesome things in here that should have been in the movie, that there is no reason to taking this out, even though if they wanted to keep it in line, a different vision, you know, add the jokey stuff and stuff, some of these scenes connects it back to Batman v Superman, connects it back to Man of Steel. It makes a lot more sense, a lot more connective tissue. And it just boggles my mind that these execs and whoever's cutting this film, Kevin Tsujihara, you don't know anything. You were such a crazy bastard. I mean, like, I'm just so upset right now because this would have been more. And you know what? After all said and done, if they release an extended edition and they still, you know, still keeping with the light moods and stuff, but add those stuff in, it would still make sense. It still could make sense. You still could have whatever version you wanted afterwards and call it an extended edition. But we all know what the original Snyder Cut was. We know the scenes, different scenes that are in here, and we know what a Snyder Cut really is. So I hope they go back, release an alternative version or something, like a few months from now, 4, 5, 6 months from now, maybe limited edition, limited time release in the theaters, something just like a palate cleanser. I mean, it's the current iteration's okay. I enjoyed it. I really like it. But it doesn't end it. It doesn't end this trilogy well. And I feel like this version, the one with these added scenes, if it's true, if that lady really did see it, if Kevin Smith and all these scenes that were supposedly that was already finished, mostly completely, almost completely done with the VFX, would it be something? I mean, would it be something? And every time I read this, it gets me more upset because my imagination just goes wild and I can see a perfect movie. You know, it might not be any better towards everybody else, but at least it feels like it should be part of the trilogy, you know, part of the trilogy. Well, anyway, did you guys read any of these deleted scenes, extended scenes? Did you guys watch that Fat Man show? Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts down below. Do you have any sources of your own that have seen this? You know, I'm sure there's more people than one lady that have seen it, and I urge them to all come out and come forward and say what they've seen, what is real, what's not, and that way it just gives us some idea of what's actually existing out there, you know. So anyway, I hope you had having a wonderful weekend so far, and yeah, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.